So for the Strangers in Paris program, I'm starting you off with a simple graphics window. I've changed the color and I've added just a couple of pictures. I guess I'll run this. Okay, so we have our gray window. I've set the dimensions, the height and the width, the back color. I added a couple of pictures using techniques that we already know, specifically the draw resized image method. You know what, I left the Eiffel Tower out of it just to simplify this example. So we put the moon and the cat in, and that'll be that for those particular images. I'd like to focus on, in this video, a moving image. If you can recall, we had 3 moving images. The lady came from the left side of the window. The man came from the right side of the window. They met in the middle, and also a heart was dropping from top to bottom. So I think we'll focus on the lady moving from the right to the center, or I'm sorry, the left to the center. And then in the other videos, we'll look at the other objects. They're all slightly different, but all kind of the same as well. Okay, so now you know, as you learned in the Maryland program, that when you have just a plain image that's going to sit there on the window and not move, really the easiest technique is this one, which is using the draw resized image method. That method takes 5 arguments, if you can recall, the name of the image that you want to draw, the x coordinate, the y coordinate, those of course refer to the placement of the image on the window, and then the width of the image and the height of the image. So now, what about images that you want to animate? Draw resized image is not going to cut it, all right? So that is not an option for the man, the lady, or the heart in this program. So if you want to animate an image, basically they will require the use of what we call the shapes collection. There is a shapes collection built into Small Basic, and we're going to use that. First of all, I want you to think of an image as a shape. Every computer image is a rectangular image, really, when it comes down to it. Even if it doesn't look like one, it has a transparent background, it's still a rectangular image. And a rectangle is a shape, is it not? So it's not that much of a stretch to think of an image as a shape. So let's create a new shape that will be the lady image, and we'll add it to the shapes collection. And once that image is in this shapes collection, this shapes collection is so versatile and so easy to manipulate. It has all these methods that we can just call, and we can manipulate our images in that way. So let's begin. Every time you introduce a new object to your program, you have to come up with a name. I tell my students, it's like, you know, when you bring a baby into the world, you have to come up with a name, and the same is true when you're adding objects to your program. So come up with a name, make it a good descriptive name. So this is going to be the lady picture, so why don't we call it Lady Pic, okay? I made up that name to refer to the lady picture. Okay, and so we're going to say shapes, and it comes up in my IntelliSense. This is part of the Small Basic language. Shapes dot add image. This is an add image method. Okay, this method requires an argument. We're saying add this image to the shapes collection, and the add image method needs to know. Well, if you look over here on the right, all right, fine. What image are we talking about here? Well, it just so happens we have a lady picture. It's called lady.gif, and that's in the same folder as our program file. And you know that technique. We say program.directory, and then we append to that the backslash, and then very carefully you type the name of your image that you are looking for, or sound file if you're doing sound, and any outside file, any file outside your program that your program uses. So anyway, that will get the lady into the shapes collection. All right. So now I'm going to say we're really home free. She's easy to move around and do whatever we want. So we will call the move method. All right. This method requires, look over on the right here, 3 arguments. We have to provide the name of the shape that we're moving, and it's going to be Lady Pic. And then we have to provide the X and Y coordinates. And you know a little bit about that from your Maryland program. So using my IntelliSense. I'll add the lady pick, and then let's see the coordinates. She is starting on the left side of the window, and then ultimately she'll move to the middle. So I'm going to put her here. Left edge is 0, of course, and then I'm going to give her a Y of 200, and let's look and see what that does. Okay, and there she is. And you may say, wait a minute, she's not moving, she's just standing there. That's the nature of the move method. It's kind of strange the way it's named. It really, that's like the initial move, the initial placement of the shape on the window. You're moving it to this starting position. So the move method really doesn't imply motion. It's really just placing it at its starting point. Now, we want her to actually move, right? So that's another method. She's going to move from here to about here. All right, how do we do that? Well, because she's in the shapes collection, it's easy to do. We say shapes.animate. Okay, this method requires 4 arguments. First, the name of the shape, it's going to be lady pick. The X coordinate of the new position where we're moving her to, the Y coordinate of the new position that we're moving her to, and then the duration. Do you want her to move really slowly or do you want her to move quickly? So let's go ahead and add these arguments. So we have lady pick. Let's see, we'll give her a new X position of about 250. And we'll give her a Y position, though her Y position stays the same, right? Because she's not moving up or down on the window. So she's still at 200 as far as the Y is concerned. And then for the duration, I'm going to put 10,000. And what does that mean? 10,000 milliseconds. Milliseconds, which really equates to 10 seconds. So that duration argument of the animate method is given in milliseconds. So if you want something to move over a course of 5 seconds, you have to provide 5,000. Okay, so let's go ahead and run that. And there she is moving along over a duration of 10 seconds. So in the next video, we'll add the man from the right side and we'll move him.